Hello, fellow homesteaders. Today we're going to learn the difference between deadly poison hemlock, the plant, not the tree, not water hemlock. There's a difference between the three. And commonly foraged yarrow and wild carrots, or as some people, mostly city folks, call them, Queen Anne's lace. What you're looking at here in the center, if I could find a stick, wait a minute, I may have one. Sorry about that. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing, and I'm not getting any closer than this. As you can see, the stick here in screen center, right in front of me, those white plants, that is poison hemlock. I'd like to do a close-up, and I'll zoom in for a photo, but this is how close I'm getting to it. It's not going to, walking past it won't necessarily hurt you, but disturbing it in the woods, hiking through it or something like that, the toxins don't have to be eaten. They can be consumed or ingested, if you would, through the nose or through the mouth. That's why getting rid of it can be so dangerous, or being around it, disturbing it, walking on it, really windy like it's starting to pick up now, with the toxins that are in the flowers and they come out and you ingest them. You have 1 to 3 hours, depending on your age and health, to live. There's no cure for it, just like there was no cure during the time of Socrates when the Greek philosopher was ordered to commit suicide and ingested hemlock to do it. It's growing in wooded areas, which is not typically the place you would find either yarrow or Queen Anne's lace. They're typically more in open fields, and this is around areas that are marshy and a lot more shady. You can probably hear my creek right in the background. There's been lots of warnings for the Midwest at first, and then expanded out. Every part of the country that this year has sustained substantial rainfall, record rainfall and flooding. Wild parsnips, which are also toxic, but they just might make you feel like you're dead with horrible rashes and welts. They aren't typically, they don't typically kill you. Wild hemlock will, and once it grows, and we've had a lot of rain for 2 years, so it can take 2 years for it to germinate and flower. So with all the rain we've had for 2 years, how it got here, I don't know. There are 2 towns named after hemlock, different varieties of the word, in this part of the state, but it's believed to have all been eradicated from there. None of them are within 45 minutes of my home. So how exactly it got here, I don't know, but I actually even moved our gate because it was about 10 feet from it. I didn't want people getting in and out to open the gate, especially on a rainy or windy day, and perhaps walk into this, have kids or dogs getting out to play down here. We used to play by the creek a lot. The kids did, and getting into it. And it's going to be gone soon. ODNR, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, wants to be notified to come inspect, see if it is hemlock, record it, check the spread, and they will either help you or get rid of it for you. So I was glad to find that out instead of us doing it. You cannot weed eat it, you cannot burn it. That'll spread the toxins. They can live up to 3 years on a dead plant, and pulling it out with a machete or a hoe, cutting it out that way, you're still not getting the root. You'll have to kill the root to kill the plant so it doesn't come back. It is a very invasive weed, and it's a very hardy weed. It's kind of like the cockroach of the plant world. But if you can see, and I'll tilt the phone in here a little bit, it's actually a pretty plant with all the different stems and the little flowers coming out on it. It's intriguing. I have said a prayer of gratitude that our granddaughter, who's learned what wild carrots are and loves to pick flowers, first thing she does is pick them after asking if she can, puts them right up to her nose to sniff them, or holds them out for somebody else to sniff. That would be all it would take to kill you, more times than not, when you're dealing with poison hemlock. There are about 6 plants down here that I can see. There may be other ones in here that just haven't flowered yet. You need to get it in the early spring before it's flowered. That means being aware that it might be here and knowing how to identify the leaves. So a hogweed looks a little similar, but not exactly. And it's actually quite a beautiful plant for being so deadly, but it's something you don't want to just go weed eating, jerking out of the ground, or anything like that. If you can, get a professional to eliminate it for you. I'm not one to hand off work to professionals. I just as soon do it myself. But in this case, if I can have ODNR come in and get rid of this, I'm going to be much happier than worrying about my husband and I putting on masks and protective eyewear and gloves and stripping down and burning the clothes before we go in the house. It's like that horrible drug fentanyl. It can transfer on your clothing, on your shoes. So you'd be very careful with getting rid of it. Just as soon as you find it, you're very scared when you see it on your property, but that's only the first step in the process. And that's actually the most startling step, but it's not the most potentially harmful.